Coming up on the show, a unanimous Supreme Court decision is raising fresh questions about what employers can and can't do when it comes to workplace accountability. We'll talk about that coming up. Plus, if the sky starts looking a little bit different this week, you're not imagining things. We'll explain what's in the air now. That's coming up on the show. This is The Take. Let's get it. Hello and welcome. I'm Chesley McNeil, and this is The Take, where we go above and beyond the headlines and we look at the why and how stories are impacting you and your community. We invite the experts in to share their take as well. They got the expertise, folks, so we lean on them. We also try to have a little bit of fun as well. All right, let's start off with this. A major court ruling, the U.S. Supreme Court, in a unanimous opinion, the high bench revived a woman's claim that she was discriminated against at the workplace because she is straight. It overturns precedent in some lower courts that says someone from a majority group has to meet a higher bar than someone from a minority group for the case to move forward. Here now to help us understand this case is Professor Deepta Acevedo. I think I'm saying your name right there. I hope I got it right. From Emory University. Okay. Welcome to the show, Professor. Appreciate you joining us this morning. Let's get started. What's important about this court ruling?
So what the Ames decision that the Supreme Court handed down yesterday is really saying is that plaintiffs who are bringing Title VII cases can't be held to different standards at that initial state of litigation based on whether they belong to majority or minority groups.
All right. Given the current makeup of the Supreme Court, how surprised are you that this was a unanimous decision?
I'm actually not that surprised because the underlying analytic frame that the court was saying lower courts have to be held to has been around for a long time. This particular variation that's used by about 5 circuits covering 20 states has come in for a lot of criticism, and it doesn't sit well with Title VII's overall framework. So I think a lot of people were expecting this ruling.
Okay, this ruling touches on the Title VII of the Civil Court Act of 1964. What does it say, and how does that play into this ruling?
Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is the federal statute that prohibits work-related discrimination based on your race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. And it generally applies to employers with 15 or more employees.
The case even has some strong connections to other Supreme Court rulings with ties to Metro Atlanta. How does that play into the role? In particular, the Bostock versus Clayton County. Compare that for us.
Yeah, so with both Bostock and with yesterday's ruling Ames, what the court is saying is that Title VII's focus really is on the individual. Now, the way that Bostock emphasized the individual is a little bit different from the way that Ames emphasized the individual. With Bostock, what the court was saying is that it doesn't matter how the group you belong to is treated if you as an individual are treated badly because of your membership in that group. With Ames, the court is saying it doesn't matter who the group is, whether it's a majority or a minority group, if you as an individual are treated badly because of your membership in that group. So the emphasis is a little bit different, but it's still on the individual.
So how can someone prove that they did not get a job because of discrimination?
It's always hard. The factual burden on plaintiffs in employment cases, and especially in employment discrimination cases, is always difficult. No question about that. But the important thing to remember is at this initial stage of litigation, which is what was at issue in Ames, yesterday's ruling, it is not on the plaintiff to prove that they were discriminated against in their employment decision. It's simply that they need to make a prima facie or preliminary case that they could have been discriminated against. And that could be anything as simple as saying, I applied for this position, I was qualified on paper for this position, and I didn't get this position. That should be enough to support an inference of discrimination.
Gotcha. All right. What does the decision mean for employers, especially at a time when DEI is being removed or lessened in many organizations?
I think what it does is it puts employers on notice that they need to be mindful how they treat all their employees. It doesn't matter if your employees are part of a majority group or a minority group. You can't treat them differently as individuals because of their membership in those groups.
If I feel like I've been discriminated against, who should I seek out for help?
probably the first point of contact is going to be an HR official within your administration. After that, if you think that the issue hasn't been resolved and you want to pursue litigation, then you need to approach an attorney and probably the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission.
Yeah, there are the steps right there. Anything else we need to know?
I think this is a decision to watch because it means that the court is really honing in on its emphasis that Title VII is about individuals and how they are treated rather than on groups.
Do you think this will be challenged any further, or how do you think it will be challenged any further?
I don't see that happening because, for one, this is a Supreme Court ruling. Secondly, this is a relatively partial test. 5 circuits, less than half of the circuits in total, use it. And so there's wide precedent for other circuits using a standard framework where majority and minority group individuals are not treated differently. All
right, Professor Das Acevedo, really appreciate you joining us today and appreciate your insight on this topic.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, take care now. All right, let's take a look at our forecast for today, folks. I know a lot of you are in town and you will be looking for, well, a chance to get outside, right? Well, there will be scattered showers and thunderstorms off and on as we head through the entire weekend. Now, we will have dry times, and so that's what you're going to have to pay close attention to because some of these thunderstorms could be on the strong severe side. You're looking at a 40% chance on Saturday, Sunday a 50% chance for the rain. It's going to be hot today, hot again tomorrow, so 88 for the high temperature on Saturday, Sunday 83 because of the extra cloud cover. I think temperatures will be a little bit lower. We're going to stay in the low to mid 80s as we head through the rest of the work week next week. Much of the work week will feature those scattered showers and thunderstorms once again. Looking at a 40% chance on Monday. Tuesday, we're looking at a 50% chance for the rain. 40% chance as we head into Wednesday and Thursday, and those temperatures will remain in the low to mid 80s. Now, when you factor in the humidity, because that's going to start to creep up on us a little bit, those temperatures, for example, 84 degrees by next Tuesday will feel like the upper 80s. The mid 80s is going to feel like closer to 90 degrees. And so, yeah, it's going to start to get a little bit more toasty around the area with the muggies creeping back in, plus those chances for rain during the afternoon. So keep the umbrella handy, folks, and again, pay close attention to the forecast. If you don't have our app, make sure you download that. And a programming note for you, beginning on Monday, The Take is expanding to a full hour. That's right. We'll continue to bring you the local experts to get their take on the stories that are impacting you and your communities. So be sure to join us on Monday, starting at 9 o'clock for a 1-hour take right here on 11 Live Plus. We're back right after this. It is being called the spectacular split. You know what we're talking about between President Trump and Elon Musk. It continues to widen, folks. Joining us now is NBC's Chris Malone in Washington, D.C. And Chris, where do we sit with this family feud at this hour?
Well, Chesley, this morning we thought that these two sides were coming to some sort of détente or trying to make peace. There was a report overnight that the president had a call set up with Elon Musk today to squash this squabble, but that is not the case, or if it was ever the case, the president apparently changing his mind. The chief of staff for the White House, Susie Wiles, telling NBC's Kristen Welker that no call is scheduled for today. A senior administration official telling NBC News that the president is not interested in speaking with Elon Musk. And it looks like the president himself spoke with ABC News this morning, saying that Elon Musk has lost his mind and he doesn't want to speak with him. So that's where we stand right now, is that this rift appears to be ongoing and we don't see any end to it anytime soon.
Wow. Well, you know, one side effect from this rift is the Tesla stock dropped 14% during all this. Do we know what kind of economic ripple effect this feud might have, especially with the government contracts in play?
Yeah, I mean, all kinds of effects. First of all, Elon Musk is the biggest stockholder in Tesla, and so he lost billions of dollars yesterday. But Tesla stock is also in many people's 401ks or in index funds that they may belong to. And then, as you mentioned, Musk has billions of dollars of government contracts. The president at one point appeared to threaten those contracts, to revoke them from Elon Musk's companies. And, you know, the government is tied up with Elon Musk. Right now, the only way to get astronauts to and from the International Space Station is through using a SpaceX Dragon capsule. And so there are many, many ties between Elon Musk and the government and people's pocketbooks and Elon Musk and the government. So all of this reaches into every aspect of American society.
Wow. Musk hit social media, made a post. He put in some Epstein allegations there with no evidence, obviously. How is the White House handling this line of attack, and could it deepen into political risk for both sides?
Yeah, of course. Anytime you bring up the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, that's going to raise people's eyebrows a little bit. The president has long distanced himself from Epstein, saying that he did know him, but he didn't take part in any illegal activities. No real reaction, but you have to imagine that that tweet from Elon Musk basically saying that the reason why the Epstein files are not being completely released is because Donald Trump appears in them. That got really personal in a real hurry last night. And right before bedtime, we saw that both sides seem to be kind of trying to squash this a little bit. And this morning, it appears that that is not the case at all. So obviously, that really rankled a lot of people over at the White House. Wow,
it's turning into a drama. Meanwhile, it all started because of Musk's view on the big, beautiful bill by the president. Congressional Republicans are moving forward with Trump's spending bill despite Musk's obligations or objections to this. Is there any sign that this feud could fracture the alliance?
It seems like even though Musk has been embraced by the MAGA Republicans, most are sticking with the president. Obviously, he's still very, very popular. He is the leader of the party. They're going to ride or die with him. We've already seen some very influential Republicans and MAGA types who have kind of started to attack Elon Musk for his positions. Steve Bannon, very notably, calling for investigations into Musk and for him to be deported. So I think that most congressional Republicans are going to side with the president and stick with this bill.
Gotcha. Chris Ballone with NBC. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for your insight. Really appreciate it.
Sure.
All right. Plenty more stories for you to come, folks. This is The Take on 11Alive Plus. We're back right after this. All right, this week, parts of the Southeast and the Caribbean have been in a bit of a haze, all thanks to a dust plume making its way across the globe. Here now is meteorologist Dr. Jason Dunyan with the University of Miami, but also is with NOAA's Sierra Air Layer Research Team. Dr. Dunyan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, first of all, explain to us what the Sierra Layer is.
Yeah, so these Saharan dust outbreaks, they come off fast and furious this time of year, and they're about the size of the lower 48 states. And they make their way all the way across the Atlantic. And right now we've got some over Florida that's traveled about 4,000 miles. So it's brought dry, dusty air all to that southeast part of the U.S.
Is this the time that normally takes place, or can it happen at any time of the year?
That's a great question. So some of the outbreaks can happen any time of year, but the fast and furious, the big ones, they start in about mid-June. So we're just starting to ramp up now. And the peak goes till about late July. So it's really Mother Nature's clockwork that we're seeing.
There we go.
Right now.
All right, so visually it brings some changes to the sky, right? Tell us about some of those spectacular views we can see.
Yeah, so the dust is interesting. It's got all these little irregular shapes, and it's come all the way from Africa. That's where it started. And the way it reflects the sunlight, the best time to get that light up of the sky is to look toward the sun at sunrise or sunset. You'll get that kind of almost looks like a London fog glow. Sometimes you get the spectacular oranges too. So you know exactly when to look. It's early in the day and late in the afternoon.
There you go. And that's the positive side of it. There is a negative side, right? Our air quality. What impacts does it have on that?
Yeah, I always tell folks to check with your local officials, but we know these little particulates, they're small enough to breathe in. So usually doesn't pose any health hazards for us, but the quality can go down. So the elderly, folks with asthma should definitely pay attention to when these dust outbreaks make their way toward us.
One of the things we talk about here in our office, of course, the weather office, is that when dust storms like this come, they tend to hinder the tropical storm season. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right, exactly. So there's a kind of a trifecta. It's super dry air about a mile above our heads that really stifles the clouds. It's got a lot of warm air that it's almost like a cap. The thunderstorms can't grow. And the winds are very strong, so it actually acts to rip the thunderstorms apart. So it's this trifecta that kind of works to suppress the storms that we see out there.
Is this something relatively new for us as far as research goes, or has this been researched for years?
Yeah, that folks back in the 60s were looking at some of this dust, and the capability we had more recently in the last couple of, say, 10 or 15 years is to have satellite imagery that can actually track it. So the dust outbreak that we see over Africa, over Florida right now, actually came off the coast about 12 days ago. So we have a lot of heads up. But from what we can tell, this has been happening for hundreds of years, probably thousands.
What tools are you guys using to research it? Like, what are you using to track it and research it?
Yeah, so we have a couple of the NOAA GO satellites that we actually track it across the basin, and we actually use our NOAA hurricane hunters to look at these little seedling disturbances from Africa that might be touched just near one of these Saharan dust outbreaks. And we'll actually take our hurricane hunter right into the storm to try to learn, hey, how is this dust outbreak affecting this tropical disturbance? Is it going to stop it from becoming a hurricane?
So will it help improve our forecasting of hurricanes and tropical storms?
I think it's helped us advance the intensity forecast a bit, and it's also helped us understand when are these going to happen. We know that when the peak happens, there's a climatology to it, and every storm, it's a case by case. So every time we're flying out there, we're helping the models, we're helping the forecasters at the Hurricane Center improve those forecasts.
So this is very important, right, to the forecast. It's something that we should be paying very close attention to, right?
We definitely should, and you have to remember they're big and they really affect the entire Atlantic. So it's something we really need to pay attention to.
Absolutely, especially for the views you said, and also it suppressing the development of hurricanes. Those are all the positive things. Of course, we have to check out the air quality as well. Anything else we need to know about your research?
I would just say that even when these reach parts of the U.S. like Florida, we're going to see it in the southeast, that air is still very dry, because it originated over Africa. So we can actually get stifled thunderstorms even over places like Florida. So it can make for some very hot afternoons. Some of our hottest days during the summer are when we have these dust outbreaks overhead. So something to be watching out for too. All
right, we're going to pay close attention this season, especially. Dr. Jason Dunyan, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate your insight.
Thank you.
All right. Don't go anywhere, folks. Back with my final take. You're watching The Take on 11Alive Plus. We're back right after this. All right, welcome back to the show. First-time claims for jobless benefits rose more than expected last week. CNN's Carolyn Woods joins us from the NASDAQ market site in New York City. Welcome to the show. And it sounds like hiring has cooled down a bit this month.
Hey there. Good morning, Chesley. Yes, hiring did slow, but just slightly last month amid tariffs and, of course, economic uncertainty. The economy added 139,000 jobs in May. That was actually a bit better than forecasts of economists. They were looking for around 130,000 new jobs. May's figure was lower than the downwardly revised April job growth rate of 147,000 jobs. The unemployment rate, meanwhile, held steady at 4.2% last month, and worker pay grew more than expected. Average hourly earnings were up 0.4% during the month and up 3.9% from a year ago. While hiring was a bit stronger than expected, employers are, of course, cautious about hiring amid uncertainty over tariffs and the economic outlook. We'll, of course, see what this means for the Fed when it meets later this month. Chesley?
All right, Caroline, we're learning this morning that one consumer giant is trimming back its line of brands. What's up with Procter & Gamble and those moves?
Chesley, this is all part of a broader restructuring at P&G. The company makes everything from Tide detergent to Pampers diapers, Bounty paper towels, and it plans on trimming its product portfolio, but no word yet on what products might get dropped. Procter & Gamble also said that it'll be exiting some categories, and it even plans to divest some of its smaller brands in certain markets. Part of this P&G restructuring calls for significant job cuts as well. The company is slashing 7,000 jobs worldwide. That's about 15% of P&G's non-manufacturing workforce. P&G said all of this reorganization is aimed at creating a better work structure. The company said the layoffs are actually not for cost-cutting purposes, which is what we've been seeing other companies do. Chesley?
All right. Finally, our next Walmart order could be coming from the sky, even here in Atlanta, right? Talk about these drones.
Yeah, you have to look up there. Some Walmart shoppers right in Atlanta will soon have the option of drone delivery. That as the retailer expands its drone program to cities in 3 more states. Walmart will begin dropping off orders in Georgia, Florida, and North Carolina within the coming year. Walmart already offers drone delivery in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and parts of Arkansas. Drone deliveries take 30 minutes or less, and the drone operator has up to a 6-mile range from Walmart stores for deliveries. Walmart says some of the most frequently delivered items include eggs, ice cream, and pet food. And the retailer says shoppers often use the drone service to order urgent items, things like cold medicine or even hamburger buns for a cookout. Chesley, you're living in the future there in Atlanta, but I have to tell you that I'm living in the past a little bit because I'm originally from Buffalo, where you used to work, and you are a core memory for me. As soon as I saw Chesley, I said, is it Chesley McNeil? So what an honor to be on with you. Oh,
well, thanks a lot, Caroline. Yeah, that's my old stomping grounds there. It was a bit colder than it is here. It's a bit hot down here, but good to see you.
I hope you're still rooting for the Bills.
Well, you know, just behind my Eagles, just behind. So I'm still rooting for them. We need a championship. We do need a championship in Buffalo. They deserve it.
Well, you're a core memory for me. I was actually texting a few friends saying, guess who I'm going to be on air with? And I didn't even have to say your last name. And my friend said she remembers seeing you at a Sabres game, and it was like seeing a celebrity all those years ago. Oh,
wow. Thanks so much. Really appreciate that. I still got some friends up there in old Buffalo. Yes, indeed. Thanks a lot, Caroline. Really appreciate you being on the show with us.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Go Bills. I'm with you. All right. All right, folks, let's take a look at our forecast for today. And we're not talking about Buffalo cold at all. We're talking about this heat in Atlanta. We're looking at 89 degrees for the afternoon high temperature. It will feel like about 91 or 92 degrees when you factor in the humidity today. Low chance for rain. Only a 30% chance for an isolated shower or thunderstorm to pop up this afternoon. 88 degrees will be the high temperature on Saturday. Another hot afternoon for us with that humidity creeping in. There could be some scattered thunderstorms around, especially during early afternoon, let's say late afternoon into early evening. That could be on the strong severe side, so we're going to need to look out for that. Maybe red alerting that this afternoon. You're looking at Sunday, a 50% chance for the rain. And then that continues as we slide into the work week. We're looking at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The chance for these afternoon scattered showers and thunderstorms to pop up, folks. We got a 40 to 50% chance through the week. And when you look at the temperatures in the low to mid 80s, when you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like the upper 80s, close to 90 degrees. So we're going to have some hot days, folks. And you're going to have to be paying close attention, at least to the forecast, because I know it's kids out at school. You got camps and your afternoon plans. They could be impacted by these scattered showers and thunderstorms, and some of those could pack quite a punch as far as the wind speeds go. We could have some gusty winds. We're talking about heavy rain, frequent lightning, possibility of tornadoes. There are low threats for it, but a brief spin up certainly is possible, and hail could be around as well. We hope that dust layer comes in and helps suppresses that, and so we'll see about that. All right, now before we go, let's go to my final take. All right, lying about your height and weight when it comes to dating is not much of a surprise, right? But it could become a regular occurrence when it comes to dating apps. Check this out. Yeah, Tinder has decided to add a new height filter for subscribers. Now, before you start thinking that this could lead to size discrimination, and it possibly could, Tinder is saying the filter will be used as a paid preference rather than a hard filter. This means that the setting is suggested, and so it's not an algorithm, so it doesn't block the users because of a certain height. Now, other dating apps like Bumble and Hinge has started using these filters as well, and it's coming with a little online scrutiny and controversy. One user says, it's over for short men. What are they doing now? Another user says they put a new filter behind a paying wall so short kings will be safe. Pretty girls don't pay for dating apps. Well, you better hope that's the case, because although I've been off the dating scene for a number of years now, height has always been a sticking point, folks. You know the saying, tall, dark, and handsome, with tall being the emphasis. Good luck on the dating scene. Glad I'm off of this thing. Old school, going to the latest scene to try to find a mate, done. And now your height plays a role. That's all we got for you today, folks. Hopefully you have a great day. Try to encourage someone about their height as well. Don't call them shorty. We'll see you.